Great Lakes are like an ocean, and they respond like an ocean when the conditions are there. They shouldn't be called a lake. They should be called something different. There's an ocean, and there's a lake, and then there's the great bodies of water that they are, and I'm not sure what they should be called, but the word lake does something different, I think, to someone's mind and changes their idea of safety.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it's true, my number's up. I was a low-down evil cup, for that the Reaper says I must ride the ghost train.
It was a nice sunny day when I turned onto Edith Cavell in Port Stanley, and it's an interesting road because it looks like the road ends in the lake. It just looks like a postcard. It's clear crystal blue water, turquoise blue water, and then the skyline and the sun and the beach. And from that drive, I could tell instantly if it was going to be a heavy day, if we were going to get into a lot of rescues that day. It was June 16th, 1998, and it was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was the end of school that particular year. There's commotion around by the pier, and I was throwing a frisbee around at the time, and we just kind of dropped the frisbee and ran to see what was going on. And there were a couple of people helping Paul Brasser walk off the pier, and that Paul was Jeff's brother. And that was the first thing that really hit me hard, was Paul didn't look like he could stand up under his own power. He was just really upset. I remember as a child spending a lot of time in Port Bruce, and my grandpa had a boat, so we took, we would go out on the lake and just see the lake from that vantage point, and touching the water, reaching over the edge and feeling the water through your fingers is always something that's really cool. It's just one of those things you become accustomed to, and you don't really give it the respect that it deserves, or the awe. Jeff Brasser was I consider one of my best friends growing up. Jeff and I were in the same shop class together, and he had left his greasy black handprint on the inside of my binder. I was a little annoyed at the time, actually, but I didn't really know how much those little mementos would mean to me. It wasn't like a scheduled event or anything, but it was just something that a bunch of people had decided to go to the beach tomorrow. It was going to be a nice day, kind of thing. So everyone just we all came to school with our bathing suits on, and we all just kind of carpooled together to the beach, and it was a great day. It was just a nice day. An unfortunate drowning that had happened, I want to say 5 days prior to us going to the beach on June 16th. While we were swimming, we were joking a little bit, saying, oh, geez, I hope we don't find so-and-so. Without wind and without any kind of weather, there isn't any danger to speak of. Other than your typical dangers around the water. But when that weather comes, it is a completely different animal. It wasn't long after that I looked down the beach, and there was fire trucks on the beach.
News leader in southwestern Ontario. News Now with Julie Simpson.
Good evening. Tragedy on top of tragedy. In a community reeling from the weekend drowning death of a young man, 2 more teens lost their lives in the waters off Port Stanley today.
police have identified the deceased as 16-year-old Jeffrey Brasser of RR7 Elmer and 19-year-old Christopher Smith of RR5 Elmer.
It was my first real traumatic experience. You know, I've had I experienced a few funerals prior to that, but it wasn't really anything like this. This was like literally one of my best friends, like someone that I loved, and I didn't realize, or maybe something inside of me was born at that time, but I didn't realize how sensitive a person I was. I was literally paralyzed for a while. Like I couldn't see the water. There's a big water tower in Port Stanley as you're descending into the village. Every time I would come close to that, it would just be like panic attacks and anxiety, and I couldn't breathe, and I would well up and cry. I was very angry, and I don't know who or what I was angry at exactly. I didn't want to be a lifeguard. And then after that happened, I kind of hated myself a little bit for not doing it, and I've just felt that I could have done something. Do you know what I mean? Not that it was my responsibility to do anything at the day of or whatever, but you just know yourself sometimes. You just feel like you can do that. You know, I could have done that. I could have got him out of that situation, I think. Everything that drove me was it was negative. It was like even when I was training in the gym, I would be running, and if I got tired, in my head I would just be like, you know, what are you, weak? You know what I mean? You'd just be yelling at yourself on the inside, like can't you do this? You know, like, fuck, it's just 5 more minutes. Just push yourself harder, go harder. Like, you know, if Jeff was right in front of you, you would push yourself harder to get there, you know? So that was always a thing that, like, it wasn't a good outcome with Jeff, so it was always, I guess, the motivation that I needed to, like, I don't know, I could never get there, right? So I guess I could never stop training. I set out to sail and learn how to sail, and I sailed up and down, you know, the eastern seaboard, up and down all of North America, eastern coast of North America, down to the States and through into the Caribbean, into the Gulf of Mexico, and I did that frequently with a few friends of mine in the States. Now in hindsight, right, that I needed help at the time to, again, like, to develop the tools that I needed in order to get through what I was trying to get, like, the trauma of the whole event. And my wife, she lost her grandmother a couple years ago, and she was very close with her grandma, and so her sisters and her mom, as just like an event, they went to like a psychic kind of an individual to kind of connect with that spirit. She said that they took a pause from everything that they were doing, and she directed, the psychic lady directed her attention towards my wife and was asking my wife questions about me and was asking, what's up with your husband and what's going on with, there's a guy, Jeff, here trying to connect with him. He was trying to ask me to just let all this shit go, just let it all go. This isn't even something that Meg or I believe in, but I still dropped. work as a lifeguard there anymore, so it was easier for me to let go of that position, whereas before I was kind of, unfortunately, but fortunately in it. You know what I mean? Like I loved it and I hated it equally. If that makes sense. Lifeguarding, that is. It's just like I love the opportunity of helping people. I don't like the politics portion of it, I don't know, but the trauma I could do without anymore. I didn't really realize just what that does to you. I can handle it as a single individual, do you know what I mean? But once I'm in a relationship and with children and the other, you know, all those dynamics there and the emotions and the relationships and, you know, the bad days that my kids are going to experience and needing to be patient for them, or the hard times that my wife is going to go through and needing to be patient with her. And I feel like trauma messes that up. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the one that was the most fit, and the one that was the most knowledgeable, and the person that everyone wanted to go to ask for help and to help people. Everything that I'm doing now, even this conversation, is still helping me understand all that and helping me get through that. And I think that's the information that's valuable and I want to share with people.
Riding the ghost train. Ride the ghost train. Ride the ghost train. Ride the ghost train.